Hello, all. This is chapter 3 in my series on pain and mortality. It's Wednesday, December 6th of 2017, and there's a lot going on in terms of news in this country, the U.S., and globally, and unfortunately our fearless leader, so with great sarcasm, Trump is starting shit as usual. Among his countless choices, the pending decision, evidently, to name Jerusalem, to indicate, that's where we're moving the U.S. Embassy, is to Jerusalem, and to declare Jerusalem as Israel's capital, when Jerusalem is very much a shared city. There are 3 Abrahamic faiths in the region, and all of them, count parts of Jerusalem as part of their, creation story, part of their background. And, they have a right to that. We have, elements of the Jewish faith, elements of the Muslim faith, and elements of the Christian faith that have, holy sites within that city, and traditions that go back, and come on, seriously. Do we have to be complete assholes about this, Trump, really? Oh, well, this is Trump, so yeah, evidently. But it's important that we, as a nation, we as individuals, we as a world, speak out and let, our fellow world citizens know that we're not okay with what Trump represents. Trump certainly does not represent me. I know that he does represent some people in this country, but they are not people whom I would want to be associated with. I've worked with people like that. I've been around people like that, and it's extremely uncomfortable. And they're the kind of folks that you don't spend any social time with. You make your appearances when you have to at whatever gathering, and then you get the hell out. I have nothing in common with falsely empowered and falsely entitled aging white men with a bad case of butt hurt. No. I won't even start on the Me Too stuff. Hello, I've got Me Too cubed. Okay, I got Me Too cubed, but that's a whole other issue for a whole other video someday. In this series, I'll get to one. But what I'm concerned about today is what I see, each day in the news. Things are moving so quickly, and to some extent, I often feel like a Cassandra. I have throughout my life, where one of the gifts that I've had, which is often a curse, frankly, it's a curse some days, is being able to see things and to recognize patterns and to see the deeper truth of something way before other people do. And get told I'm a weirdo because of that. Oh no, it's not like that. How could you say that? It's, oh, don't get so, it's not going to get that bad. It's not, it couldn't possibly be that. Really? If you look back at what I wrote a year ago about Trump, it's spot on. Spot on. Absolutely spot on. I wasn't wrong. I wasn't being overly alarmist. If anything, I understated the dangers to our country. I knew that people were like, oh, what's your problem? I'm concerned about my country. I love my country, and I'd rather not see it go down in flames. I am deeply saddened by what I see happening in this country. I am scared for the grandchildren I'll probably never know because of what I see happening in this country. And I ache for everyone whose lives are being touched by this madness. We're all in this together. We're all being touched by this. Everything from, the government is going to shut down if we don't get some kind of emergency funding passed through again. We went through this in September. Now we're going to do it again in time for Christmas. And, is the government going to shut down? Or are they going to give it another, 90 days on life support before they really deal with the pressing issues? We just increased the national debt by over $1 trillion. And by many estimates, worse than that. And of course, now what happens is exactly what I was talking about before. Now that we've increased the deficit, now there is this discussion, and it's mandated by law, the pay-as-you-go law, that now that we've increased the deficit, oh darn, now we're required by law to cut entitlements. What are entitlements? Entitlements are programs that help people that are not rich. They are programs that help people that are entitled to them. In other words, people who are disabled. There are programs for the disabled that we pay for under the New Deal. Social Security disability, Social Security, Medicare. Yeah, I'm on Social Security disability. I had to fight for 4 years to get recognized as disabled. I had to go to court. I had to speak in front of a judge. One of the scariest things I've ever had to do in my life. My lawyer had to file the stick on me with all kinds of research, and he had to learn all about my conditions. And then the court, wanted to fuck with me and not, give it to me based on that, and they gave it to me based on something else, and then the judge had a heart attack, and it took 6 months to get the decision, and I felt bad for the judge, but it's kind of like, wow, okay, can I just get some kind of something here so I can move on with my life? If I need to appeal again, I can appeal again, but this hanging out in limbo is a little much. I very much wish that I could still work in a 9-to-5 capacity. I would love that. If it was as simple as going out and getting a job, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But now I've been out of the job market so long, and there's so many resources I don't have. I would essentially have to reschool myself. I'd have to go back to school and start with getting current on the technology. Even if you're just going to be a secretary, you have to know the latest version of, Office or Open Office or some iteration of that. You've got to have the basic skills to even just come in the door and be open to learning from that point. You have to at least have the current skills under your belt. And I do not. And I've contemplated going back to school to get that. But now with my health, just sliding that much further down, it is not particularly fun to contemplate, trying to go to school, even doing it from home. There's some, involvement of going to the location. And it's getting nigh on impossible to even move within my own home, which is scaring the daylights out of me. And other health issues are coming up and making it extremely difficult to function, just function. And each day I'm awake and aware that, okay, whatever today's boundaries are in terms of what I can do, those are in effect for today. They can be very different tomorrow. And not to put too much insistence on the idea that it has to be like this. Well, of course I have to be able to move around my home. Or what? Or what? Okay, if I can't move around my home, that means I can't move around my home. Maybe it means I can't walk anymore. Maybe it means I have to start crawling. I'm almost to that point. Almost. I have, actually, a couple times. If I can't stand, I'll roll onto the floor and, crawl there and crawl up, when I reach the bathroom and have to sit on the toilet and cry. I've been there and probably will be again. It just is that way. And I did avail myself recently of a forbidden resource, but I'm to the point where, like, you know what? If you're gonna fucking break in and just arrest me, at this point, who gives a shit? By the time you get the paperwork, I could be dead. And even if I'm not, and you break in and who gives a fuck? If someone's really gonna, try and make the last days of my life miserable because of, whatever, it's like, I don't think I have that many more days left, frankly. And, in a worst case scenario, if I got thrown into whatever, I might even have access to healthcare there. I don't know. It takes a lot to really make me think I would change what I'm doing. I don't think I would. I think I'm into this for the long haul. However short that long haul may be. My goal here is to be a catalyst for conversation, so that people whom I have never met and probably will never meet, probably won't ever speak to me or leave a comment, that's okay. If it gets them thinking, if it gets them thinking, then, and then willing to engage in conversation about these meaningful subjects, then that's good. They talk to their family, they talk to their elected officials, they are concerned, and so therefore they reach out in their own community, they reach out to the vulnerable in their own, their own family, or, people they know in the community who are maybe not doing so great. Maybe need some, maybe there's a family that is in their neighborhood that they know is hurting, and maybe they'll reach out to them and bring by, a card for, a gift card for food, for the family, for them to have a holiday feast with their kids. These are the kinds of things that I hope are the net result of being exposed to the reality of what can happen in this country. Bad things happen to good people and bad people. Bad things happen, period. Just because bad things happen to you doesn't make you a good person. It also doesn't make you a bad person. Things happen. Good things happen. And bad things happen. Things happen. And I've had some wonderful experiences in my life. There are things for which I remain eternally grateful. And I take joy in them. In my last days, I think back on, I remember, Fanning Island and standing in those wonderful blue waters and the white sandy beach, and all my lesbian sisters there, from the cruise ship, and, wonderful, wonderful moments, and meeting my beloved for the first time, flying to Europe and seeing Saskia, and, remembering what it feels like to be in her arms, and wishing I could go back. But taking pleasure in the fact that I have been there. I know what it feels like to be in her arms. And so I am sending my love to you and to everyone in the deepest and most profound spirit of Namaste. And I hope that you have a joyous holiday season, whatever that means for you. Bye, guys. Till next time.